really sad. Really,
Oh
really
my
sad.
gosh.
You know, like why are they still illegal? Like why are people still allowed to get hold of them? You know, it's that sort of thing. It's the same thing. We sort of said that in our first or second episode.
First episode. I was going to say, I really like the point you made, like, just because, I mean, I said it all the time, just because something is illegal. I can't remember the example you gave, but it was, it was drugs, wasn't it? You said, like, drugs are illegal. Doesn't mean people don't take them.
That's really true. Definitely, that wasn't me that came up with it. I can't claim it. I heard it somewhere. I think I heard it from one of the anti-MLM content, because, you know, that really has helped me so much. But I mean, we might use this clip, but I really want us to sort of like introduce you.
That's cool. I haven't actually started filming yet, so I'll turn my camera on now.
Just because we obviously had a little bit of a scatty bit, and we really tend to like try not to edit much. We want it to be super flowy.
Yeah,
and I know we had a bit of an issue with the headphones, so I don't know if we will be able to add that bit in.
That's fine. You might be able to get little clips here and there. Anyway, I'm filming now.
Okay, cool. This is so exciting. So happy to have our first guest.
I know. How
anyone better? We've got someone famous in the house.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
Literally, famous friend. No, I love it. That was so cool. And we'll definitely talk, you know, get into that later on. But huge welcome to Charlotte. And, you know, this podcast is literally, this episode is all about you. We want to deep dive into your experience. We want to hear about it. We want to hear about, you know, how you got involved, why you left, and, you know, life afterwards. But, you know, give us a little bit of rundown. Tell us about yourself.
Tell us about yourself, yeah.
Okay, so I am 24 in 2 days' time.
Ooh, Aries! Are you an Aries?
Are you 3rd of April?
Yes.
That's my birthday too.
Oh my god, happy birthday for Saturday.
No way. That's
crazy.
Oh my god.
That is funny. So yeah, I'm gonna be 24.
Wow.
I think I was about 22 when I joined Arbonne.
Nice.
I guess I'm allowed to say the company. I feel totally fine saying which company I was in.
Yeah,
so yeah, I joined. Yeah, I've said it a lot on my YouTube channel. So I joined Arbonne in 2019, and I was with this company for about 4 months. And in the 4 months that I was in it, I never made back the initial £200 or so that I spent. I actually made a net loss of £800, and I felt like a big idiot. And I didn't talk about it for a very long time. So I think I quit in about September of 2019. And I decided in January of 2020 to film a video sharing my experience. And when I first filmed that video, I wanted to share it to YouTube because I'd started watching anti-MLM YouTubers, and I thought I really enjoy these videos. But the main reason I filmed the video was because I wanted an easy way to tell all of my friends, family, and acquaintances that I had messaged about Arbonne, but I wasn't doing it anymore, why I wasn't doing it, and basically that I was sorry for trying to recruit them or trying to sell products to them, because I felt incredibly embarrassed about having ever sent one of those "hey hun" messages to anyone.
Oh god, that's just too
so
much.
I shared my experience on YouTube, and then it's kind of gone viral. I haven't checked how many views it's got now, but at this point it's got over 70,000 views.
Oh my
which I was not expecting in the slightest. Like I said, I just wanted my friends and family to know about it.
That's mad.
But I am so happy with the response that I've had from people. I've had the most heartwarming messages from people saying that they were about to join Arbonne and then they saw my video, so they didn't, or that they had been in Arbonne and that they were having the same sort of thoughts as me, and that they finally had the courage to leave, or for other companies as well. So that has really been my motivation to keep sharing information, spreading awareness about multi-level marketing on YouTube. I have, of course, received a lot of very nasty comments and messages, but overall, the positive completely outweighs the negative. And that is the one good thing that came out of multi-level marketing for me. This passion to spread awareness about it now.
It really is addicting, isn't it? And don't you think that we can so agree with that? Like, even I feel like a different person from when I first spoke to you on our call, and I was like, oh, but yeah, like I kind of want to talk out about it, but I'm scared and worried.
Yeah, there was a long time that you weren't even gonna talk out about leaving, alone record it on YouTube.
I had the hush hush voice note.
Yeah,
Charlotte had the voice note.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Voice note,
yeah,
that's crazy.
But yeah, like that passion now, and I can imagine, like, you know, have you had people who've like messaged you and said, babe, like because of you, I've now found the confidence to leave?
Yeah, every single message means so much to me. But at the same time, like, I've honestly lost count of how many messages I've received. Like, it touches me every time I receive one of those messages. But yeah, it's hundreds of people at this point, and that's not me trying to brag. That I'm just so pleased that I could turn my horrible situation into a positive. Sorry, am I allowed to swear on this? Because I was gonna say my shitty experience.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We've had a shitty experience as well.
Okay, cool.
But it's just the weirdest thing to really explain as well, isn't it? Because it's so like, I feel like the best way I've now been able to explain it is it's two different realities. It's two 100%. Different universes almost. It's like, when you're in it and experiencing it, it's one thing. When you're out of it looking in, it's a completely different thing. And it's so mad to come to terms with it as well. Like, we've, you know, all three of us have had to really like go through like a grievement or like a new self-discovery as leaving, and really actually understanding what it was we were involved in, because our other reality was completely different. So like, you know, kudos to you.
Yeah, definitely.
And actually, in response to that thing about it takes you a while to come to terms with what you went through, I would just like to say that you don't have to make a YouTube video. You don't have to become an anti-MLM YouTuber or TikTok or Instagram person. But even if you just tell people, your friends and family on Facebook, or a couple of people in person, actually, I found that taking ownership of my experience and saying, this happened. I did some stupid things. I did some things that I don't agree with now, but I've learned from it, and I'm hoping to help other people with it and undo some of the damage that I may have done when I was in it. It honestly makes you feel so much better about the situation. And my first video, I was so scared. I felt really shy. And I think that you can see, if you were to watch my first ever video and watch my videos now, you can see the growth in
transformation.
Confidence.
Yeah,
definitely.
Now I'm not embarrassed at all about talking about it in the slightest.
No,
I don't think I've seen you. Have you seen the first video that Charlotte's made? Tash,
I think I did watch parts of it, definitely, and I think that's how I really can't remember how I found your channel, but it was all clearly meant to be. Saying
definitely.
That we're birthday sisters.
Yeah.
I definitely found like one of your videos to start with, and I'm pretty sure it was your first one. And actually, because I was in Arbonne too, I haven't said it, little disclaimer, because I don't know if we can really talk about the companies, but I know that you do, so I don't really feel like it's that bad. But I suppose it's like a slight nerve that I have. But yeah, I did actually do Arbonne, and it was a similar amount of time like you. And so it was so interesting, like you talking out about it first, because I don't know, like even still to this day, understanding that Arbonne was actually an MLM is like a weirdest thing, because when you get involved, you don't really realize, or I never heard of them beforehand. Same with the other company we were a part of. So it was interesting, and I learned so much from you, and I really do appreciate, and I'm so grateful for the anti-MLM movement and your videos and so on, because I've learned so much from you, from so many other creators, and it was such a crucial part of my recovery.
Same.
Out of
I didn't even realize there was an anti-MLM movement until you mentioned it to me, and then you sent all the videos of like Charlotte and Hattie, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I think that's when we were like, we should speak out about this, because for so long we didn't want to.
No.
Yeah,
but it's so important. And yeah, that first video, I mean, you know, just hands up, you know, congrats. Well done. Pat your old self. Your old self. But yeah, like my main question as well is, what would you say really drew you to joining? I think that's like such a critical you know, question, because there are so many people that get involved, and we do always hear that sort of repetition of why you know, all of us are sort of falling in quotation marks for these schemes and whatever we want to call them. So yeah, we'd really love to know, like, you know, what kind of attracted you to it? Why did you get involved?
I will firstly say that something I have noticed is that you very rarely find anyone joining an MLM when everything is going great in their life.
Yeah.
And you might not be aware that you are particularly vulnerable. You might not be very vulnerable, but you might just be slightly vulnerable in certain aspects of your life. And I was. So for me, I liked the idea of the flexibility. So I am in the performing arts industry, and you can be called for auditions at the last minute. You might go to an audition and then you get a recall for the next day, and then the next day, and then before you know it, you've got to take the whole week off of work. So for me, I thought this would be really good to fit around my other commitments. And I also really liked the fact that all of the products are vegan and cruelty free, because I am vegan and I am vegan with my...
so alike.
We are so alike. We are just the same person. So yeah, I thought that it would be a nice idea to be able to earn a little bit of money from encouraging people to use vegan and cruelty-free products. Because whilst I don't think I am a preachy vegan, I do wish that everyone, even if they're not completely vegan, was a little bit more vegan, because it's just so good for us, the animals and the planet. So it just seemed like a really nice way to make some money. And I had no awareness of what multi-level marketing was. I could tell when someone first said to me, oh, this is a pyramid scheme, I was like, yeah, okay, I could see how this could be called a pyramid scheme. I actually didn't even know what a pyramid scheme was.
No, me neither.
But I think most people do know what pyramid schemes are, but I didn't even know that. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense actually, because they're recruiting and then they're earning a bit of them, and then it goes down and down like this triangle, and I can see it. But I didn't know that it was illegal. I didn't know why, because it's very immoral, because only the top 1% are going to make any money. And if I'd known that, I would have been like, oh shit, yeah, I'm in a pyramid scheme, I need to get out.
Yeah, no, I had no idea I was in a pyramid scheme. Did you, Tash? No.
I mean, I still don't really know, because it's this, so one camp says no, one camp says yes. So I'm like, was I not? Like, you know, it's still, I almost feel like I still really want to like actually figure out the company that we were partnered with. Is it not? Because I mean, especially with the pandemic and there's no bloody travel going on, and it's recruit. That to me screams pyramid.
Well, yeah, definitely.
The product's there. The product, is it great? Is it not? I'm still like umming and ahhing, because you hear some great stories, you hear some horror stories. But you know, the irony is, me and Nick can both hold our hands up and say we hardly booked any travel. We got involved to be a travel agent, and then we realized, oh, actually it's a lot of hard work to book travel for people, and there's so much risk. What if it went wrong? Oh, I'll just go tell everyone else how they can book their own travel and make commission. That's much better. Then I can meet new people, I can connect with other vegans and find my niche and get on all the calls and be shouted out, get that gratification we all loved on a Sunday night, you know. and so it, I don't know, I'm still in two minds, but I'm definitely swaying towards more of yes to we were involved in a pyramid scheme.
I definitely do feel like we are.
You can get used to, like, the guilt and the / kind of embarrassment kind of over it. But it's very interesting. But I can so understand why you would get involved. Like, you're almost, I feel like all three of us could say, like, we do fit the bill, you know, that perfect prospect is such a thing. And you know, enthusiastic and already positive and not too bothered about what people are thinking, independent, wanting to go our own routes, have a passion, you know, there's all that similarity that we see in why people decide to get involved. So I feel like your story could definitely relate to a lot of people who are starting to tune into our podcast already. So I'm not surprised, and you know, it is such a learning curve. But yeah, Nick, do you want to add anything to that, you know, to the sort of getting involved with the question?
Well, you mentioned that you dealt with a lot of backlash when you were getting your story out there. Like, how did you deal with that, and how much did you how much was you getting?
I mean, when I first shared the video, when it first went up, I was actually getting a lot of really positive feedback, like, well done, you're so brave for sharing this. And then after it had been up for a little while, it did start to get the attention of current MLMers. And the way I dealt with it was just not really reading the comments. Because, don't get me wrong, I like receiving constructive criticism, because I have received things and I've been like, oh yeah, okay, I need to do that. Like, you know, oh, the audio is too quiet compared to the clip you're reacting to. That is great. That is constructive criticism. And I took that on board, and I've now changed, and my videos have improved because of it. But if you're telling me that I'm lazy and I didn't work hard, firstly, you don't know me. You don't know my experience. You do not know how hard I was working. So you cannot say that. And
that's the first thing they're going to say, though, isn't it? You weren't working hard enough. Like, that's their
or you were only in it for 4 months.
4 months.
Oh, yeah.
4 months should be long enough to make £200. Imagine if you were working at your 9 to 5 and you hadn't made £200 in your first 4 months.
Yeah, it's just
crazy. 100%. And this covering up of it being a business, and you know, most businesses don't make profit for 3 to 5 years. It's like, this isn't most businesses, you know. I
want to, exactly. Talking about that point, they like to say that it's your own business, but we all know it's not, because Arbonne existed before you. It will continue to exist after you. Same with any of these companies. I just always refer to Arbonne because that's my experience. You didn't pick the products. You don't get to choose how much the products cost. If you look at the price and you're like, God, this is really expensive, this is a rip-off, you don't get to change that. You don't get to make the products cheaper. If you try something and you're like, this greens balance is revolting and it makes me gag, you don't get to change the formula.
You still have to continue to sell it. Yeah,
exactly.
It's not your product.
In that sense, it's not your own business. It is more similar to being a sales rep, a sales assistant.
Yeah.
In which case, we shouldn't be comparing how much money are you making in your first 4 months to how much money are you making in your first 4 months with your own business. We should be comparing it to how much money are you making in your first 4 months working as a sales rep in your local drugstore.
Yeah,
completely. That's what the true comparison is.
That is the tea.
No, it's so true. You know, and this talk of commission, and obviously in Arbonne, it's like QV, isn't it? Like how much you sell and how much personal QV you buy yourself, because that's where mainly
What's QV? What does QV mean in Arbonne world?
I mean, you talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. You talk about it.
So each product has a points value assigned to it.
Right.
It's basically so that to work out when you can promote to the next level, because obviously these companies exist in multiple different countries with different currencies. So if it was £200, it's obviously not that, it's much higher, but say it's £200 to promote to the first level, but then what is it in the US when it's dollars? So they just make everything have a points value to it. So I think it stands for cumulative value or something like that. They'll be called TV or something in different companies. And so when you get a certain number of QV, you can promote to the next rank. But it's like thousands of QV.
So it's kind of like, go on, you're going to say, Tash?
No, and the fact with like most product-based companies is you have to keep that QV running every month. So you might be one of the top % income, but you need to still get this amount of QV every single month to keep that rank, and obviously to keep that incentive to get the cars you got in Arbonne, you know, the Mercedes bonus. So every month, like we didn't even have to go through that.
Wow.
Thank God. You know, but that was a massive selling point in getting involved in the company we were, because there's like no sales targets, which is a really stressful part of a lot of product-based companies. And so this whole QV is kind of fascinating in its own way, but it kind of tries to make you sell the products and get rid of the products and buy the products, but mainly, as in one of Charlotte's YouTube videos, go check her out on YouTube, talks about how pretty much most of the customers are the reps and are the what would you call reps and
the distributors.
Distributors, that's it. But actually, please explain more about that, which I think is really interesting in product-based companies, how that's kind of the main tactic, really, isn't it?
Yeah. 2 seconds. I'm just going to pause and start again because my camera usually cuts off at about 20 minutes.
Yeah, my camera just did that as well. I had to restart.
That's fine.
Strange.
So as you explained, you have to maintain a certain number of QV to maintain your rank in a lot of these companies. And it's important to note that any purchases you make for your own use, that counts towards your QV to maintain your rank. So if you are struggling to sell the products, it's quite easy to see that you would be encouraged or inclined to just buy some products for yourself. If you're like, gosh, this month has been a difficult month, and I haven't reached my target, so I'll just put in an order of 800 QV.
So you must like, did you guys buy a lot of products for yourself then? Like, just like, if you couldn't sell, were you just buying a lot of products? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was encouraged to buy products for myself, for my own use. I wonder whether you heard these terms, Tash. Did they ever tell you you've got to be well, actually, you may have heard it in both of them. You've got to be a product of the product.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to Arbonize your life. You know,
that was tragic.
you got to try something before you sell it. I mean, and these things make sense. Like, how can you sell something if you've never tried it? So you've got to try everything. And then I also had to buy products to lend out as testers to people. So a lot of the people that I was selling products to were people my mum's age, like my mum and my grandma and my mum's friends. So I was getting the anti-aging skincare range. I don't like that term, but exactly, you don't need it. But I was buying it because that was the product range for that demographic. I didn't ever use these products. I don't need anti-aging skincare. And that was, you know, gosh, like £100 that I spent on skincare that I was never going to use. Wow. So it quickly adds up. Oh, and also another thing that can add up is these in-person training events that you are encouraged to go to. I was personally pressured. I have never said her name, and I think I ought to stick to it like that, onto this Zoom call, and personally pressured me to buy a ticket to this training event called Leadership Academy. She doesn't know who I am. She couldn't give a shit about me. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But she made me buy a ticket to this training event, and it was a cult meeting. I went there and this training event just ended up being a cult meeting. And actually, I guess it was quite a good thing that I did go, because one, it gave me a video, and two, it really made me doubt what I was in. I was like, this is awful. This
is that when
horrible.
you knew? Is that when you knew? Like,
that was when I knew. That was when I knew. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've been to a few cult meetings.
Yeah.
Did you go to the one in Birmingham, Tash, not that long ago, last year?
Yeah, I went to so many.
Oh yeah, because that's I remember.
I went to the convention in Orlando, honey. I went big.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
you traveled abroad.
I was like cult meeting on crack.
You
were.
It
was huge. And then I didn't even think of it like that though. I was literally in my element. I was like I loved it. You know, even to this day, like I will so say I loved it. I was with people I liked. I met gorgeous people, you know. I really loved it, and I was in awe that this is what people's success was. I was in awe of my mentor who'd achieved what she'd achieved at the age she was, and you know, she was an old friend of mine too, so I was, you know, proud of her, and I was in awe. I thought it was the most amazing thing. Like I don't know if it was at the part of my journey which just made me seriously more invested, which I think it's what it did, instead of the other way and think, oh my god, this is ridiculous. I was so naive and so like, this is the best thing to ever happen to me.
Well, at the time I thought it was amazing as well, but now looking back on it, I just think, god, I can't believe, I don't know, to me it was like I was literally in a room full of everyone who was brainwashed just like me. Like it just, the way that they gas you up and like they gas everyone up, it's crazy the techniques that they use.
Yeah, 100%. Like even when I was up there on convention, they brought up everyone under 25 to go up to the stage, and then the company CEO went, and these are our future millionaires. And I literally was thinking I'd made it. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah, I had to up and speak as well, and I felt so like important, and it's just like it's just so funny, isn't it? So
I felt so important, and I, you know, because I didn't know what the hell to do in my life, so it was a great feeling. But that's what they do. They love it. They love to prey on, like you say, like the vulnerable and people who don't know what they want to do in life, and just sort of running with this amazing thing and loving that gratification, which is such a true thing. But yeah, you know, thankfully those things helped her. So would you say that after that meeting, that was sort of your awakening? How long after that meeting would you say you decided it wasn't for you anymore?
I would say that that was the catalyst that made me quit. So I went to this meeting in month 3, I think, and I came away from it. My direct upline wasn't actually in the country, so she didn't go to it, but she texted me and she was like, so how was it? Do you feel inspired? And I was honest with her. I said, no, I actually feel really drained, and it's really making me question whether I want to do this anymore. And I guess I mean, don't get me wrong, I like nice things. I like nice cars. I like the idea of being financially secure. Well, that's the thing. I want to be financially secure, but if I'm comfortable, I'm cool with that. I am somewhat of a minimalist, and the lavish lifestyle, whilst if I had it, I wouldn't turn it down. It's not what motivates me in life. And just to see this like explicit materialism and just not being happy unless you, like you say, are a millionaire. You don't need to be a millionaire to be a worthy person and to be happy with your life.
100%.
And so that was one thing. Then another thing was I actually started to take a step back in my last month of Arbonne, because my uplines wanted me to do another round of the 30 Days to Healthy Living. And I didn't want to do it because it was stressing me out. I have had an eating disorder in the past, and it was becoming very disordered. I could feel that if I did this again, this could very easily lead to a relapse. And I called up my upline in tears. I was like, I need to slow down with this. And I have been really stressed recently, and I haven't been able to tell you why, because I just felt uncomfortable. But the reason I don't want to do the 30 Days to Healthy Living because I'm not in a good place mentally at the moment. So I did slow down with it. And to be fair, she was like, no, that's cool. You don't need to do it. You shouldn't do that. But I've made this point on my YouTube channel. I hate these diet MLMs.
Yeah, me too.
Why did she never ask me the first time round when I said that I didn't really want to do it? Why didn't she ask me why? Or even if I hadn't said that I didn't want to do it, why didn't she ask me for a medical history? Why does no one ask whether it is appropriate for you to be doing a diet plan? It was completely inappropriate for me to be doing a diet plan. It was unhealthy for me physically and mentally, but I was made to do it because it was my business. So I slowed down with it. At this point, I had recruited someone as well. So I felt really awkward because I was like, I'm meant to be helping this person, but I don't even want to do this anymore. So my upline sort of took over her. And then another thing was I really felt like I was pushing my friends away. There was one friend in particular, she was my best friend at the time, and she just stopped replying to me.
Oh, no.
Ever since I had been involved with Arbonne. And again, I called my upline and I said, my best friend isn't talking to me anymore. And she tried to gaslight me and tell me that, oh, you're overthinking this. It's not because of Arbonne. She's not distancing herself from you. And like I said earlier, you are not me and you don't know my experience. You don't know our relationship. You can't tell me if things have changed. And then because of that, I then decided to go and add up how much money I'd actually spent on products and trainings and how much money I'd made, because I knew I hadn't broken even or made a profit at this point, but I wasn't keeping track of it. Another example of how this is not your own business, because in my self-employed jobs, I keep track of everything, But at no point was I told to keep track of my expenses and my earnings. So I went and did the maths, and I had lost just over £800 within those 4 months. And I was like, no, I cannot do this anymore. This is a scam. I have been scammed.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God, £800 in 4 months. Wow.
And also consider that my mum was buying products from me pretty much every month. My grandma bought products from me. They were spending, around £100 on products. As a family, we definitely spent over £1,000.
Bloody hell. Do you feel like you were mainly selling to your family and friends then? Your close family and friends? Yeah, so it wasn't actually selling to the public as much as you wanted to. Yeah.
No. They were the only people who were willing to buy products from me because, like I mentioned earlier, these products are overpriced, and the reason they are overpriced is not, like the reps will say, because they are such good quality. It's because they've got to pay you a commission, and then your upline a commission, and then your upline's upline a commission.
Yeah.
That's why they're so overpriced. That's why they're marked up so much.
Definitely.
And also, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I know that a lot of people do enjoy online shopping. I personally, when I'm buying things like cosmetics, like to buy them in the shop. I like to see them, especially with makeup. I like to make sure that the foundation is going to be light enough for me, that sort of thing. And people didn't you can't even just go to the website and buy it. You have to go through someone. So you have to sort of walk someone through buying the products. No one was just going to my website and buying products. Even though I tried to do that, I did genuinely try to sell the products. I made some videos talking about the products, and I've actually reacted to my first ever Arbonne video on my YouTube channel.
I think I watched that one actually. That was quite good. I think I watched that one.
Thank you. Yeah, I tried the makeup on for the first time. And you could see in I was really trying. I am an actress. I was really trying to pretend that I liked it, but I didn't. And I was like, shit, what have I got myself into? These aren't even good products.
Oh my God.
It's scary, isn't it? Did you also have a launch party?
Yes. This is quite sad. It's funny in hindsight, but I only had one person at my launch party, and it was my mum.
Same.
Oh.
And I told my brother about it afterwards, and he was like, that's really sad.
Oh
he was like, I'm so sorry for you.
Wait, so what's a launch party? Is that when you started your Arbonne business and you get people together? No. Yeah,
so when I started, you would do them in person, or especially at the moment, everything's online. So you just invite people to. I thought the idea was tell them that I had started my own business. I hadn't really, and share the products with them and see if anyone was interested in trying and buying them.
Yeah.
But actually, this is my first red flag very early on. So my first couple of weeks, but it wasn't enough to make me quit at this point. I didn't do much of the talking because I was very new to it. My upline did most of the talking. It was me, my mum, and this upline. And she was talking all about this business opportunity, why it's so great, why you should join. And even at this point, my mum was like, oh yeah, I know what MLMs are. She actually was in Amway. My parents were in Amway at one point. So she knew exactly what it was. And she didn't want to join. I didn't want my mum to join. But even then, even when my mum was saying, oh yeah, I know what MLM is, you don't need to explain it to me, she continued to talk about the business opportunity and just didn't talk about the products at all. And then afterwards, I said to this person, next time, can we focus more on the products than the business opportunity? Because I'm trying to sell the product, I'm not trying to sell the business opportunity. And she said to me, well, you are meant to sell the business opportunity first, because it's easier then to fall back on the products. If someone doesn't want to join, you can be like, oh, okay, I understand that. Would you be interested in trying some of the products? But it's harder to upsell yourself. So that is the advice from the reps. Sell the business opportunity first and then the products. And it literally just occurred to me as I've been explaining this, surely that is proof that this is a pyramid scheme rather than an MLM. You sell the business opportunity before the products.
And it's just hiding the business opportunity, just hiding the fact it's got products to not be a pyramid scheme. Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. And I think for us as well, to relate with the travel business, it was like recruit, and then, you know, oh, we'll get trained up. You don't have to book travel straight away, get trained up, you know, use this time to train yourself, all that jargon, and secondary income source with the pandemic going on, which makes me so sad to think how many people have got involved in this industry due to the pandemic because they think that they can make a side income, and actually we all know.
But how is that the case? Like, that's just crazy, the fact that people are joining in a pandemic, like where no one can travel. That is mad.
I think it's nuts. I think it's mad.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That shows how crazy the recruitment tactics are. Like, they have really managed to manipulate the situation so well that when people come back with saying, well, we're not traveling right now, well, I don't think I'm going to travel for a while, they can wangle it in and then bring in the opportunity, bring in the other ways of making an income.
It's a great,
bring in the community, bring in the Zoom calls. There's so many more that they,
and it's just like they say, like, well, this is the perfect time to get trained up. You've got all this time to train up, and then boom, when the travel boom comes, like they've been saying it's going to be coming for the past, like, what year now?
Still waiting for that. This time last year, we were talking about the travel boom. We were buzzing.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
Well, I was going to ask, like, were you in your travel MLM during COVID?
First lockdown, we loved it. I was so on it. Like, this is great. I've got time to just get on it. No distractions.
Travel up, train up,
there's a field which I literally haven't gone to since leaving the MLM because I'm scarred, but I used to walk up this field and pretend that I was a director to like manifest and create myself as a director. And I used to walk up it with like Independent Woman on in my ears and just walk up it and like go up to it. And then at the end, I'd be like, Tash Margerson, 1-star director. Like, I literally tried to embody becoming this director I wanted to become. And then I would just like play like, I believe I can, which I feel like has almost become like a network marketing song in itself. Like, honestly,
actually,
we heard that a lot.
Speaking of, talking of songs that are sort of ruined, this is one that you might not expect. I wasn't a huge fan of the song beforehand, but Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles has been ruined for me because Arbonne came out with a limited edition Watermelon Fizz Stick. And as you can imagine, all the Huns were using this song on their stories. And now whenever I hear that song, I think of Fizz Sticks and Arbonne. I'm like, get it off.
Man, it is so funny how this like hey hun thing is really becoming a thing. Like, literally, I feel like every company always starts off their messages hey hun. Like, I even got sent it from a girl today who I think I used to prospect, and we've been chatting back and forth, and she got a message from a hun saying, and then she was asking me if this was my MLM, and I literally looked at the time and it was 6:30 in the morning. I'm like, why?
The prime time. That's
honestly,
the prime
they
time.
used to get us up, you know, at that time we'd be on these calls at 5:45, but first lockdown I was on them, and I remember getting on them every morning, and then it hit Friday, I was like, just crashed myself. Like, it was mad. Like, and it would get to a point where you wouldn't even do the personal development to start with. You'd run out of bed, get on the call at 5:45, show you're there, either give some value or get on with those, sending those messages. And like,
and that was in the morning and night time. Did you have to do that, Charlie? Did you have any Zoom calls that you had to hit? Like, go on.
There are those Zoom calls, and again, I'm sure that some MLMers will say, well, that's why you failed, because you didn't do those things. I never got that sucked into it where I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and sitting on Zoom calls with these Karens and sending out messages. I was like, I've got better things to do.
I love that. These Karens.
I got to a point where I definitely thought I had better things
but it's just so unnatural. Like, what we were doing was just so unnatural. Waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, jumping on Zoom, staring at your computer screen for an hour and sending messages out at 5:30 in the morning. I would get abuse half the time. Like, why are you sending me messages at this time in the morning? Like, who does that? It's clearly a scam. Which is obvious. It was.
It now really does. Okay, so this comes on the next question I really want to ask you is, what would you say is been the biggest newfound freedom since leaving?
Again, let me just pause my camera because that's.
I'm also slightly worried this is going to run out. Did you get the message about like this Zoom?
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, so we might.
That's a good place
I haven't got that.
That's weird. I had it.
I had it.
Should we re-log in just in case?
Let's re-log in and then
I'll ask you the question
again.
Fab.
And I can finish.
Okay, fab, just got it. Okay, so we really wanted to ask you, like, what would you say is now your sort of newfound freedom since leaving your, since saying goodbye to your MLM?
I would say there was a lot of mental freedom for me. Arbonne really negatively impacted my mental health. It gave me anxiety. It really worsened my depression. And like I mentioned earlier, it was very inappropriate for my previous eating disorder. And saying goodbye to my MLM, it felt like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. The moment I decided I wasn't doing it anymore, I felt like 10 times lighter. I felt like something had lifted off my chest.
Yeah.
And I felt like I could start to become me again.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was being a different person, like I was being Arbonne me.
Alter ego.
Yeah. And I was faking it.
Yeah.
Till you make it. I was pretending that I was loving the products, that I was loving the community, but it felt really fake. And I could just be honest with myself and be like, no, I want to be friends with people who want to be friends with me because they like me, not because they are earning money off of me. Not because I'm forced into this friendship group. And that was probably the biggest freedom that I had. Obviously, there was the time that it freed up. I didn't have to spend all of this time on this sinking ship. I could actually spend time on worthwhile things, and the money. One of the biggest things. I wasn't throwing money down the toilet.
100%. Just essentially really allowed you to have your life back, really, hasn't it? And focus on the things that you like, lead with your decision, what you like to do, and your day is literally run by yourself. And don't you find it so ironic? And it kind of goes into why we called this what we've called it. Obviously, you heard our first name, and thank you for the constructive criticism.
That's all right.
Do you remember, Nick, what we were going to call it?
What were we going to call it? I don't remember now.
It's a load of bullshit.
Oh yeah.
It is.
I'm glad we didn't go with that name.
This name is much better. Yeah,
it's much more PG, and this is the sort of vibe we want to go for. Like, you know, we are sharing our stories, and we are being as positive / like non-negative, I don't know, in the between,
just non-judgmental, I think. Because it is going to be, my stance is going to be a negative one. I acknowledge that I have bias because I had a bad experience, but I am looking at lots of people's experience and the data, and my experience is very common. So whilst my thoughts are going to be negative, and a lot of people's are, I'm not judging the people. I mean, the people very high up who know exactly what they're doing, I'm judging them, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not judging them personally, I'm judging their actions.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I've got to remember, we've all got to remember that we were once, if you were in an MLM, we were once those people. We were once those annoying, in quotation marks, those annoying hey girl people. And I know that I didn't have bad intentions. I had good intentions. I wanted to help people. I wanted to encourage them to use vegan and cruelty-free products and earn a little bit of money from it. My intentions were good. My actions were not. And I wasn't aware of it. And I personally think, I'm currently training to become a counsellor, and I really like the person-centered approach, which is where you don't hold any judgment for the client. You and it's very, I like to use that approach with my YouTube and my activism as well, because I don't think that shouting and telling someone that they're stupid is
it's beneficial, is it? Like, no one wants to hear no one wants to be told what to do. Like, I feel like as well, when you have gone vegan and so on, and you develop that mindset, like, okay, let me be, I'm quite independent and going against the crowd. Like, and I actually think probably we can all hold our hands up. It's an Aries trait. We're stubborn. We don't want to be told what to do. And, you know, it's the same thing. Like, we don't want to tell people to go vegan. And also, like, us three don't want to go and say to someone, leave that MLM or get involved. Like, me and Nick in our DMs, we won't actually say to people, yeah, leave. Come on. We've got friends who are still in it. We're not going to be like, go and cancel your account now, leave, unless we really think it's like a big intervention, which we're kind of on the verge of. Love her dearly, love them. Not going to disclose, but, you know, shout out, love you if you are listening. And yeah, this non-judgmental way of going about it is, that's what we love. But I really, although I did say in my first episode, or our first episode, like, I'm not in the anti-MLM camp. I love it and I respect it. I'm so grateful for it. It's obviously just not the approach we want to go across. And we're all, you know, unique and trying to find our own space, you know, in this sort of world of podcasting, YouTube. But I'm so grateful for it. I think you and everyone else who are doing it is amazing, and we definitely are touching it. Like, we can't deny it. We're not 100% number one fans, and who knows how our content's going to progress. We might be completely that way in the next few episodes. You never know. But right now,
it could happen.
It's just, it's non-judgmental, which I think is so true.
Well, going off what you just said, Charlotte, about you had to put on this like fake facade and have like fake friends. Are you still in contact with these friends now, or you're not in contact with any of them anymore?
No, I am not in contact with any of them. Even before I started speaking publicly against MLMs, these people stopped messaging me. Because, you know, you'll get messages from them daily when you're in the company, but then after that, they don't, they don't want to know, how are you doing, hun? How are things going? They don't, when it's not to do with them making money off of you, they don't care anymore.
No.
I have been unfriended, I've been blocked, which I don't really care because I wasn't personally that close to them, but I can appreciate that must be really difficult for people who have been in these companies for a long time, especially if they have been encouraged to distance themselves from anyone who doesn't agree with them. And I've bumped into some of these people at auditions and just been ignored, which I think is pretty immature. I mean, we're all people at the end of the day. We're all performers, and we know it's a tough industry, but you know, they've not been able to even manage a hey.
God, that just screams red flag, doesn't it? That just screams like this is such a scam, that all they care about is the money.
It's just fake.
And where is the money? Like, actually, I really think this is interesting. And do you know what? This could even be an interesting video to do, because the other day I was actually working out the top income earning, and they're even not getting what they should be. I'm going to that is a tea spilt right there. Like, I was working out how much someone's team, top income earners, you know, their percentage of what they're making for the company is actually pretty small. Which I think is interesting, because we all think that people at the bottom in the 95, 99, how many percent? I can't work out if it's 95, 97, 99.
99.6%, according to the FTC, of people don't make money. Yeah.
Wow. Jesus. But then obviously even the 1% or less than 1% who are making the money, like, you can get the 6-figure incomes that they want to bang on about and so on, but they're still not making the cut that they should for what they've actually done for the business.
I wonder if they know that as well, though.
I don't know. I can't work it out. Can't work out if the top ones really know what they're doing. Like, because you can't really be 100% nice person really when you're at the top, can you? Because you don't care about the people. You don't care about all these people losing money. You don't even think that they're losing money. I don't know. Do they think they're losing money?
I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask someone who was in the top 1% and isn't anymore. But I think that maybe they just don't allow themselves to believe it. Now, when I told my upline that I was quitting, obviously neither of us were top 1%, but just to put it into context, I told her I have lost over £800 in 4 months. And if someone came to me and said that, I would be like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Like, what can I do to make this better? I am so sorry that I brought you into this.
You feel bad.
Telling you that you would make money from this and you've lost nearly £1,000. But she was just like, oh, that's a shame. I thought you really liked the product.
Oh my God.
Didn't even acknowledge the fact that I'd lost nearly £1,000.
Scary.
So toxic.
So I don't know whether
scary.
she just didn't want to believe me or didn't want to acknowledge it, didn't know how to acknowledge it. So I wonder whether that's what's happening with the top 1%, that they just won't allow themselves to believe it or even acknowledge it.
And the thing is, because most of them are lovely people, even in the top percent, I'd probably say that there are some really gorgeous people who have got good intentions and do pour a lot in. Like, God, I know people in the top percent, they really give their life to these businesses, and they'll train you and they'll give you support and so on, and they do care, in quotation marks, in order for it to benefit them. But there is a lot of like stuff provided and a lot of time and effort that goes in. It's not just these horrible, nasty people trying to scam you, but it's done in like an almost indirect way because of the business model.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and actually something I want to share, this isn't, I think that it was Laura Dos Santos, she has a YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure she said, it was either in one of her videos or she said to me, so I think she was in like one of the top 1 or 2% or something like that. She was making more money than most people, and she thought, well, I'm doing what I've been told and it's working for me. So for those who it's not working for, they're just not doing what they're told.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense. Like, if you're doing what you've been told and it's working for you, then you must think, well, anyone who's it's not working for, they're obviously not doing what they've been told to do. But you've got to consider that there are lots of factors that go into whether you are going to be successful. Luck, how much time you have to be able to put into this. If you work a full-time job already, it's going to be harder for you to make this successful. Yeah. Do you live with a partner who has a good income, meaning you can afford to put more money into the business, meaning you'll eventually make more back? Do you have a large following? Timing.
When you got involved.
Exactly. There's so many factors. I just want to say, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Laura who said that, but don't like come for me if it wasn't her who said that. But I've definitely heard that.
I think that's such a true point, and I think it's so interesting when you leave. And I'm sure we've got people who think about me and Nick, you know, in the community we were in. It's like, well, they clearly didn't put enough time in it. We've even had a message of someone, you know, unfollow us and not.
They saw.
You know, read out, tell Charlotte what they said to us in the message.
What did she say? I mean, she said that, you know, she originally unfollowed us because she thought that we were kind of, well, with just failures, that we didn't give it enough time. And then she actually listened to the podcast and realized that we were in it for nearly a year and a half, both of us. And she was shocked to hear what we were talking about. So but yeah, that's what they teach you at the start, don't they? It's just they constantly drill it into your head that, you know, you have to stay in it. You have to give it your all. Don't quit.
The business never fails people in their head, you know, even though the income disclosure statement clearly states it. But it's like this, I mean, I called it in our second episode, it is this sort of virus that goes on, you know, it's this lies. It really is. It is lies, isn't it? And it's so sad. So sad. Yeah, we've really loved chatting.
Yeah.
On my phone, it's already an hour, and I can't cope with how quickly these episodes go.
I know.
But just to sort of throw you under a little bit, we've started, which you won't know because you haven't, I mean, you don't have to, but just because we started at the second episode, we are kind of doing like small business shout outs. We haven't prepped you. So don't worry if you can't. Don't worry, it's fine. And that's probably our fault. We didn't prep you. As we always say, we are super novices at this. So it is kind of impro. But yeah, we are doing this sort of small business shout out. We really want to, you know, spread awareness and actually help small businesses time that need support and shout out. And obviously we would love for our listeners to go and go over to their account and support in any way that they can. So, I mean, you don't have to go first. Nick, do you want to go first? I don't mind going first because I have got someone in mind.
If you've got someone in mind, go for it, because I actually haven't at the moment. So I'm going to go find someone.
Okay, I'm going to shout out another friend. Let's go on the friend bandwagon. So my friend in lockdown again has started out, I actually got it here, these lovely arms, and this is custom made, the little gem. pun intended. So yeah, so it's a lovely phone charm for those that aren't watching on YouTube. It attaches to the volume, the lock. You know when you lock your phone for like the sound, that part of your phone case, and yeah, you can get your any color charm. Tash is my name, obviously, so I've got it on there. So you find her on Instagram, Blings and Beads. I will tag her in the description. You'll find her on her Instagram. But lovely, gorgeous girl, all handmade, all does it herself. You find her on Depop, and she's just literally killing it. So many influencers are on board. She's, you know, been able to reach out to so many of them. It's a super trendy, cool thing.
I do like them. They are very trendy at the moment, aren't they? I think I'm going to get some.
You need to go on, support Blings and Beads.
Yeah.
Her name is Ella, so send Ella some love and go follow. So that is my small shout out of the week. Love you lots, babe. If she's listening.
Okay, well, I think I found one quickly. So it's my friend's small business. So a friend of a friend. She's lovely. I've met her probably twice now, and she does feminist art. Yeah, her art is amazing. She's got tote bags, stickers. Are
we like, is it Florence Given vibes?
Yeah, proper Florence Given vibes. Yeah, you'd love it. And her tag on Instagram is by Bella Designs. But obviously we'll tag it in the video as well. But yeah, she does some if you're into Florence Given, you'll love this.
Love that. Okay, great shout out. Now, if you have one, Charlotte, that's amazing. But if you don't worry, we can always add it on.
Yeah, we've kind of thrown you into this.
No, that's cool. Well, this is a little unconventional. It's not a small business, but it's a small YouTube channel that I want to shout out.
Love that.
So she's actually one of my best friends. We've become really good friends. Her YouTube account is called Robin Reviews. She started off doing anti-MLM videos. She has sort of branched out into more sort of lifestyle videos. So she has recently moved to New York, and she is doing some like thrift hauls, life in New York. This is a little backdated now, but she spent Christmas on her own in New York, and she did a little vlog of that. So if you are into lifestyle videos, and she is just such a sweet person, go and check out her channel. Robin Reviews. And also check out some of her older anti-MLM videos.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I remember watching one of her first videos. It was like a story time. And I was like, this girl is really good at telling stories. And
love that.
Yeah, I love that.
Honestly, like, if you vlog. Oh God, yeah. I mean, hopefully we'll be able to try and do a few of them when we're out.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, just to like finish off, you know, if you are someone listening who are on the fence, you aren't too sure, please immerse yourself in anti-MLM content, because it will really help you understand and really get to terms with how you're feeling. So always that feeling is so important if you are feeling that weird feeling of being involved in it. But most important channel is, of course, Charlotte Dickerson's channel. You know, she is just incredible with your anti-MLM content. You do so well. You know, seeing your growth has been amazing. The guests you have on, I think, have been fab. I love the lady who is the psychologist.
Yes, that video was amazing. I watched that one.
Definitely.
That was great.
We might reach out to her, because I'd really love to understand more of the psychology. And
very interesting.
You do want to talk about...
do you mean the video that was where we talked about the psychology of MLMs?
Yeah, she's American.
Robin. That's Robin. That's Robin.
Oh, Robin.
Wow. Yeah. Right, she's really intelligent. She's really cute, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart. I love her. Okay, that's cool. That's good to know. We're gonna reach out to Robin.
Yeah.
Do.
Yeah. So interesting. And yeah, honestly, I can't recommend enough, get involved. And I mean, we just want to literally, I know we were kind of at the end, but we didn't really ask you, but very quickly and small, literally want to talk about your you know, few minutes on this morning. Like, how did that happen? How did you feel? And you know, I feel like that is an amazing achievement and found freedom since
and how did that happen? How did did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them? Like, how?
Sorry, again, I will just stop and start again.
Yeah, my camera's completely stopped as well. I can't even start it again, so we might have to use the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my camera.
That's fine. Anyway, so I think how it happened was one of the researchers for this morning posted in an anti-MLM Facebook group asking if anyone had an experience they would be willing to share, and someone must have told them they should get in touch with me, because I then received a message, I think it might have been on Instagram or an email, asking me if I'd be willing to talk about my experience on This Morning on daytime television. And I was like, yes, definitely. I spoke to a couple of the researchers on the phone. I told them about my experience and what I do now. And then, yeah, they said that they would get me on. It was because of COVID. It was a Skype interview. Yeah, so I went live and I was terrified.
Oh my God.
I didn't know how nervous I was before or during. I think I managed to keep it together pretty well.
Yeah, you were a natural.
I was shaking like a leaf. I called my boyfriend up and I was in tears. Just because I was so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it was just crazy.
Well done. Honestly,
yeah, well done. Yeah. Did you receive any feedback afterwards?
My phone was blowing up afterwards. So many people were like, oh my God, I just saw you on TV. People who didn't even know who haven't seen my YouTube and didn't know about my experience and what I was doing now. I did see some backlash from Huns. I didn't go looking for it because I knew they'd hate it. But, some people showed me. I was like, please don't show me this. But it's what I expected. But yeah, overall the response was really positive.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
Even people might not reach out, but you would have helped so many people. I know you would have. That is the point of what we all do now.
The positives definitely outweigh the negative.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we're doing.
100%. Thankfully, we haven't got any Huns yet, but I feel like they'll be honest.
It's going to happen.
When it happens, just skim through the message. If you think there's some constructive criticism, then have a deeper look. But if it just looks like they're coming to bash you, ignore it.
Ignore it.
Completely. We've got a bigger purpose, and the people that we want to help is way more important. So I don't mind. Yeah. Honestly, thank you so much for being our first guest.
Yeah, you're such a babe, Charlotte.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It's so nice to speak to you and meet you. Yeah.
And you guys.
Angel. And we are going to definitely keep up and keep in touch. And you've really helped myself and Nicola, get to understand the world after an MLM, understand what we were a part of. And just so grateful for your content. So grateful for our chat, which was about an hour. I can't remember when it was now. Was it? I feel like it was months, but it probably was only a few weeks ago. But I almost feel like
I don't know. Maybe it was about a month ago.
Yeah, but it was great, and I so appreciate that, and I so appreciate you coming on. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Definitely.
Well, we'll say goodbye.
Yeah.
And we won't keep you any longer. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.